The original Disney princess and villain are back on the big screen for the world to see through a new lens. Let's find out if Disney's latest live-action adaptation is truly the fairest of them all. Snow White review is coming your way right now. Oh, nice. Hey, these ain't contaminated, are they? Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Porter Report. My name is BJ Porter and I hope everybody is having a wonderful day today. For those who have returned from our previous videos, thank you so much for coming back, and if this is your first time here, welcome and we hope you enjoy everything this video and channel has to offer. Well, today is an exciting day to say the least because I'm here to give you guys the latest edition of Porter Report movie reviews. This is my way of expressing my thoughts and opinions about the films that I see and enjoy and those that you do as well. Now, we're still relatively early in the year, but I'm confident that the movie we're going to be talking about today is the most unproblematic and non-controversial movie of the 2025 slate so far. Or at least that's what I assume. I don't know. I've been off the internet for a while. Today, I'm giving you all the review for Disney's Snow White, directed by Mark Webb and starring Gal Gadot as the iconically vindictive evil queen and as the titular fairest of them all herself, Snow White, Golden Globe winner, Miss Rachel Zegler. All right, guys, let's just get this out the way right now before we go any further. I am fully aware of the passionate conversations that have been happening in regards to this film. So let's just put it all on the table. Am I aware of the controversy surrounding this movie? Yes. Am I aware of the backlash that has surrounded this movie? Yes. Am I fully aware of the vitriolic and venomous comments that have been made toward actors, directors, and producers and anybody involved in this film and just the general disinterest in this film as a whole? Yes, yes, and also yes. It is very well known that some of these Disney live-action remakes bring out an emotionally triggering response in people that teeters on the line of annoyance and at times also mental mania. Everyone has, whether others have asked for it or not, expressed their opinion about this movie even prior to seeing it. That in itself is a whole other conversation I really don't want to get into. Speaking for myself, I wanted to do something crazy that has never been done before. I went to watch the movie so I could form my own opinion. Oh, be quiet. People still do that. I've never been a proponent of being part of the hive mind of pop culture opinion, especially with how toxic it's gotten over the past few years. I try to go into things with an open mind so I can focus on things that actually matter instead of petty things that at times have nothing to do with what's going on screen. All that said, I do have some concerns about this film going in. Given that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is considered by many to be the definitive Disney classic, giving it the live action treatment is already considered a tall order and for some a losing fight. But in the end, this is the only question that matters. Is this just another pointless remake of a classic? Or is it a surprisingly poignant update that adds layers, depth, and substance to the world and characters that we all know? Others are giving their take, so I think it's time you got mine. Let's see if this modern reimagining is the fairest of them all. Here's the Porter Report movie review for Disney's Snow White. A kingdom's future hangs in the balance with hope for a better one being found few and far between. After claiming the throne from its original benevolent rulers, an evil and ego-driven queen sits on the throne looking to rule the kingdom through vindictive and tyrannical methods as she aims to bring suffering to those who she deems unworthy of being in her presence. While being under her rule seems like a dark and cruel existence, the people have a light that brightens their dark days. This comes in the form of Princess Snow White, the past king and queen's young daughter. Reduced to a mere handmaid and forced to do chores and given lowly robes, Snow White is the polar opposite of her wicked stepmother as she leads with empathy, kindness, and compassion as she holds on to hope for a better future for herself and the people of her kingdom. After realizing that Snow White could be a potential threat to her rule, the wicked stepmother queen orders her execution. Fleeing into the woods seeking sanctuary, Snow White finds herself in an enchanted forest with many individuals looking to help and protect her, including a lively band of dwarves who live in a cottage in the center of the forest. Determined to change the fate of her kingdom, Snow White and her newfound allies must rally the people together to stand against her wicked stepmother and prove once and for all who truly is worthy to be the fairest of them all. In what might be the most talked about Disney live action reimagining for better or worse, director Mark Webb leads the latest live action adaptation that brings Walt Disney's original animated masterpiece to life. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot step into the shoes of the original Disney heroine and villainess in a modern update that looks to honor the past while embracing the present. After experiencing the film from start to finish, Snow White White is a modern update that accomplishes enough things to make it good enough, but not enough to make it stand out amongst the ones that came before. Despite some of the obvious shortcomings that are present within the movie, the film still manages to be a good cinematic outing that respects what came before while doing its own thing in return. Let's talk about the positives first, starting with the performances. Rachel Zegler is a more than capable leading lady as the lead character Snow White. With all the venom that has been thrown her way these past few years, it's easy to forget that she is one of the most talented actresses in her generation. She presents a new Snow White to us that learns to move with purpose as opposed to sitting and waiting for things to happen. Always quick to lead with compassion and humility despite the cynicism around her, Zegler is able to bring the iconic princess into modern day and make it her own. Zegler, no question, should be commended for her performance, for it's one of the many things that the movie has going for it that works. On the opposing side, Gal Gadot delivers a top-tier ham job as the evil queen. Gadot's screen presence is apparent, for she chews the scenery with delightful, mischievous glee. It's clear that Gadot is having a blast in the role, as it allows her to fully be a character who just glides from scene to scene, stealing everyone that she's in. However, there is a one-noteness that comes from this performance that leaves a lot to be desired. I honestly feel more could have been done to give this iconic villain more layers while still maintaining her iconic essence. Still, Gadot manages to work with what she is given, and if nothing else, she is expertly able to capture the visual aura of her 1937 animated counterpart. The other supporting cast members pull their weight as well. Andrew Burnap as Jonathan is a nice change of pace from the one-note Prince character from the animated classic. Seeing him go from a cocky and cynical common thief to someone whose hope and faith is restored is a decent alternative to the cartoon love interest. A lot of his scenes always don't land, unfortunately, as a good amount of them come off as awkward as opposed to genuine. Burnap does fine, but I believe more could have been done to make his impact in the film hit more. As for our seven dwarves, they provided some of the film's best comedic moments, with all of them being great representations of their animated counterparts. Martin Kleba, Titus Burris, Jason Kravitz, George Salazar, Jeremy Swift, and Andy Grote-Lucien all bring great life to Grumpy, Bashful, Sneezy, Happy, Doc, and Sleepy respectively. But special praise has to go to Andrew Barth Feldman for his performance as Dopey. Dopey has always been a fan favorite dating all the way back to the original 1937 classic. But here in the live action version, the heart he brings to the film really stood out to me and makes him one of the standout characters within the film without a shadow of a doubt. Speaking on the other elements of the movie, there is a lot of good and some passable. The film's messaging on the power of giving and the poison of always taking was very well telegraphed in the film. Both Snow White and the Queen are physical representations of these ways of thinking. While the Queen takes for her own vain and selfish needs, Snow White's willingness to give via compassion is what lights a fire under everyone she meets. Her greatest strength is showing kindness and reminding everyone that doing things for the betterment of others will always have better results than doing things for your own gain. It's a lesson that I believe is executed well and makes the movie worth the price of admission. Now, given that this is a musical, the songs were without question a vital element going in. And to be honest, my opinion is split down the middle, for a lot of the songs were both hit and miss. While Zegler's opening ballad, Waiting on a Wish, is one of the film's best musical moments, the other new songs didn't quite land the same with me, with a lot of them ranging from average to below average. Gadot's All Is Fair ended up being quite forgettable, but Good Things Grow did manage to be uplifting in many forms. As for the beloved classics, Whistle While You Work and Hi Ho were good, but unfortunately pale in comparison to the animated classic. And that seems to be the main theme with this one, which makes this a double-edged sword for the movie. One of the big criticisms of Disney's remakes is that they play things too safe and do things beat for beat. The good news is that Snow White doesn't fall into that trap. It does things differently while paying homage to the 1937 classic, which allows it to stand on its own. Here's the bad news though. Like all of the other remakes that came before, it's always going to be mashed up to its animated counterpart. And in the case of this film, it just doesn't measure up. Not that it should even try to, because it's clearly a fool's errand, but it does come with the territory of adapting something that has defined multiple generations. All in all, Snow White is just good enough to be worth the watch, but when compared to the past few Disney live-action adaptations, it just doesn't quite stick with you as long as you'd like. Zegler, Gadot, and all involved do well with what they're given, but more could have and should have been done to make this new take on the iconic story more impactful. It is nowhere near as rotten as many perceived, but the hints of sweetness would have hit a lot more had it not been for the bitter bites in between. So yeah guys, this is just another standard Disney live action remake that honestly is just fine. There were parts that were enjoyable, but this one didn't really stick with me as much as others did, especially compared to the other two live action Disney films that I saw over the past 2 years. Regardless of whether I like the movie or not, I'm really happy that I actually went to go see the movie so I could form my own opinion. And I encourage every one of you guys to follow the same logic. It could have been really easy to listen to the chorus of hate and ignore this movie based on what everybody said about it, but I want to give you something to think about as I wrap up. Sure, everybody and their mother can say that the movie is not worth your time. That being said, it's important to know that everybody's experience with something is always going to be different. So you could potentially be depriving yourself of a good time if you just follow the crowd. And if you just so happen to come across somebody with a different opinion than yours in regards to a movie, honestly, try to follow Snow White's example and lead with kindness and compassion. For at the end of the day, you may be the only Bible that some people may ever read. With that, I'm now throwing it to you guys. Boy, this ought to be fun. Sound off in the comments your thoughts about Snow White, and please, I'm begging you, please keep it classy down there. I think I made it very clear how I want to run my channel, so I really don't want to start banning and blocking people. So please do everything in your power to keep conversations about this movie respectful. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support of the channel, and I look forward to delivering more reviews to you all in the road ahead. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to stop on by. I hope everybody has a blessed rest of their week, and until the next review, I'm BJ Porter, and this has been The Porter Report.